everyone, and welcome back. Hi, my name is Kristy. I am located in Massachusetts, Zone 6A, with an average last frost date of May 15th. And today we're going to go ahead and seed start some Feverfew. And I am super excited to go ahead and get this started because I heard that this is the workhorse of the garden and that is a must if you want to go ahead and have a cut flower garden. Now, Feverfew is a short, tender perennial in zones 5 through 9. So I'm really hoping that the Feverfew will go ahead and reseed and come back year after year. If not, always I'm going to go ahead and try and do my best to go ahead and save seeds. Now, I have two different varieties that I'm going to go ahead and seed start today, and they are both I got from Johnny Seeds. So the first one we're going to go ahead and do is the Magic Single, and then I also have the Tetra White. I just love daisies, and I love how these are just a small daisy-like flower and that they branch out, so I'm very excited to go ahead and get these started. Feverfew can go ahead and take 10 to 14 days to germinate, and you're gonna wanna make sure that you go ahead and get them started about 5 to 7 weeks before your last frost date. When you are seed starting them, you wanna go ahead and gently press them into the soil, but you do not want to cover them with your soil medium as they do need light to germinate. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and just surface sow, again, just making sure that they have direct contact by gently pressing in. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put a very light layer of Vermiculite before I go ahead and mist them and get them under the heat mat. It does say on the Johnny website that 2 to 4 weeks after you do sow your seeds, you're gonna wanna go ahead and pot them up in 3 to 4 inch pots. So again, I did get a whole bunch of 3-inch pots from the Dollar Tree. You can get a pack of 12 of them for $1.25. So if you're just getting started with seed starting and you don't want to invest in anything that's too expensive, you can go ahead and check out your local Dollar Tree. Just know that sometimes you get what you paid for. So when you go ahead and take your seeds out, they might not last maybe more than 1 or 2 years, but that's okay. If you're getting started and you just want to see how you do, go ahead and try something that's a little bit cheaper, or see if you can go ahead and find some free pots on, say, Facebook Marketplace or in your local Buy Nothing group. You can also go ahead and use any of these solo cups if you got the big Costco brands. So there's lots of different options to go ahead and pot things up. All right, now let's go ahead and get seed starting. Now, from looking at the back of the Johnny Seed packet, it does give a lot of information before you go ahead and get your seed starting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read it off the back. That way you'll know exactly what it says. You can also go ahead and check out their website. I always go ahead and check out the Johnny Seed website before I go ahead and seed start anything. I find it super informational. They have great details. They'll even let you know if you can go ahead and direct seed outdoors or if transplanting is best. So it does say to go ahead and sow 5 to 7 weeks before transplanting in either the spring or the fall. You want to gently press the seeds into the medium, but do not cover them because you need light to germinate. You should be bottom watering or misting to avoid covering the seeds, and transplant to cell trays or 3 to 4 inch pots 2 to 4 weeks after sowing. It says you can go ahead and harden and transfer outdoors after your last spring frost, or you can go ahead and transplant 3 to 4 weeks before your first frost. Now, if you do choose to go ahead and direct sow, it says to sow seeds as soon as soil can be worked. Gently press seeds into the soil, but do not cover. Keep soil surface moist until emergence. Then you should thin the seedlings when they have their first set of true leaves. All right, so Malin decided to join me while we give a few informational facts about Feverfew. So Feverfew is a natural pest repellent. It actually does help repel harmful insects to your garden. So it has a nice strong smell. So it does make a great companion plant. One thing I like about Feverfew is that it is low maintenance. So once it's established, it doesn't need too much watering. And also what's great about once it's established is it reseeds easily. So I'm hoping to go ahead and get some well-established plants, so then that way it can come back year after year. And another great thing that it does, it attracts all the bees and the butterflies to your garden, which you need those great beneficial pollinators. Now, before we go ahead and get seed starting, I do want to say that these seeds are very small. So I went ahead and just got a little shot glass and filled it up with some water. I have some toothpicks and then just a plate so I can go ahead and see where they are and pick them up. So all you do is you're going to go ahead and take a toothpick. You're going to dip it in the water and then gently pick up a seed. And I'm going to try and put at least 1 to 2 per cell tray. When I look at this, it says that you should get a minimum of 50 seeds. So I actually plan on doing another 40 cell tray. I am slowly running out of room. That's okay because we're gonna make it work. And then I'm going to go ahead and do half of the Tetra White and then half of the Magic Single. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so I have my 40 cell tray. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it with my seed starting mix. Again, I know it's repetitive, but I'm gonna keep on saying it just in case if you're just hopping on and you're new here, hello, welcome. So happy you found us. So all you do is you're gonna go ahead and make sure you give it a good squeeze if no water droplets come out, and then you're gonna go ahead and have your soil hold its form. You can go ahead and start setting it in. That means it is ready to go. I personally don't like to go ahead and put dry soil in and then rinse it in, because then I feel like it gets, I don't know, too many air pockets. You still have to go ahead and squish them down anyways, and to me it kind of just makes a mess. And I feel like if you have it the correct consistency too, you're not going to have to worry about your hands being too dirty. And I do like to make sure, again, I have all of the cell trays pushed down and compacted, so we have all of the air pockets out, especially since these seeds are so small. You don't want them to go ahead and seep through because they do need that light to germinate. So again, just make sure you give a good little press, and then you get all of the cells. So just start at one end and work your way down. All right, and this is what it's gonna look like at the end. So everything is nice and even. I try and smooth off any of the excess, so then that way nothing is hanging over or goes ahead and like floats around when I do dump out the extra water inside. All right, so today I wanna make sure I try and get as close to the cell tray as possible, so you can go ahead and see how I use the toothpick and place them in. So first we're gonna go ahead and start with the Feverfew Tetra White. It is March 9th. So we are just almost at spring, which I'm super excited. So we have the Johnny Seeds Tetra White, and they come in these little baggies right here. I find these extremely hard to get seeds out of, frankly. I feel like they get super staticky. So hopefully I can go ahead and get them on the plate. All right, I'm gonna put that down. And I don't know if you can see, but they are super duper small. So that is why it's very important to not cover them. So I'm gonna go ahead and just put them here. And I have my little shot glass full of water. I'm just going to dip the toothpick in, or you can go ahead and lick it. And you just go ahead and press, and you should be able to get a little seed on. And I am going to just make sure that I tap this in and gently place it in the middle. And I'm just gonna go ahead and keep redoing this process. Oh my goodness. Guess I need to white it again. I feel like this is just patience at its best. And again, I just want to make sure I press it gently enough, but not picking it back up. So we're going to go ahead and keep doing this process. All right, now we're going to go ahead and make sure that we mark off that we're going to be doing the Feverfew Magic Single. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to do half of the tray worth. I'm actually just going to go ahead and press them all in gently now. They are very small, so again, make sure you have some patience, and you just also want to make sure they don't get buried. I feel like sometimes I felt like I pressed it too far in. All right, so we're going to go ahead. Those look great, and we're going to get our Magic Singles. And always make sure that you keep your extras or your little baggie, or your seed packet, I should say, because just so you know how tall everything's going to get later. All right, here we go. So this is going to be our, Feverfew Magic Singles. They are teeny tiny again, so the toothpick really, really helps out. This time though, I'm gonna go ahead and just leave my tray over here so that way it doesn't get in the water. So again, you're gonna go ahead, you're gonna take your toothpick and you're just gonna dip it in, or again, you can lick it if you choose. And I'm going to go ahead and just gently pick one up. And I'm gonna put it in. And this one actually has way more. So I think what I'll do is I might just put 2 in opposite corners. So I usually will do one up top and then one on the bottom. It does say it has a 94% germination rate, which is pretty great. But I always like to have a backup, especially because, I don't know, I just feel like sometimes I lose one along the way. So it's always nice to have extra. And I do plan on putting some of these at my work. So we're just going to keep going, and then we'll get some small little amounts of vermiculite on. So we have everything in our cell tray right now. They are teeny, teeny, tiny seeds. So again, I'm going to extremely lightly dust this on just to help with the moisture control. But I am going to try my very best to not go ahead and cover the seeds because they are so small. And then sometimes I always just go back and I might add a little bit more vermiculite once the seedlings grow and it looks like I didn't put too much because the seeds were so small. But this should be just good enough. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get my spray bottle. I'm gonna just go ahead and mist them in and then get them on the heat mat. Again, you wanna make sure it's around 70 degrees. So I am actually gonna go ahead and put it on its own separate heat mat. So that way it won't go with my other flowers I have going right now because I have that set at 75 degrees and can get up to 78. So I'm gonna get these on its own separate heat mat so it has its own thermostat. So I just go ahead, put the probe in the soil, and that way it'll keep it at a nice 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So we have our spray bottle. We are going to very lightly mist it in. I'm not even pressing on it too hard because I don't want my seedlings to fly away. I do have a mister, but I feel like it's almost just as powerful too. All right, and that should do it. We're gonna get it on the heat mat and call it a day. And there we have it. We have another quick nap time seed starting with our Feverfew. We had our 2 different varieties. I'm super excited to go ahead and add these to our garden. And if you found this helpful at all, please go ahead and
don't forget to like and subscribe.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell button. We hope you are enjoying all of our videos and we can't wait to see you next time. Bye.